Hi, this is Shelley Kraft. We're coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the Singular Research Best of the Uncovered 9th Annual Conference here in Bel Air, California. I have standing with me Rick Rutkowski of ClearSign, publicly traded company, and the symbol is CLIR. Rick, welcome to SNNLive.
Thanks, Shelley. Appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
It's good to have you. Give us an update. Let us know what ClearSign's doing.
Well, there's so much to talk about that's current, but a little background. We're a company that does combustion and emissions control technology, and we've developed some really revolutionary next generation technology in that we can take emissions further than anything on the market, the lowest emissions of any control technology on the market, but importantly, with the highest performance and the lowest cost. And performance in combustion means everything. We're talking about potentially millions of dollars in annual savings for installations like refineries and oil field exploration. So
give me an example of how you would work your magic.
Sure. So we just announced a deal recently that's a good example. It's a company called Era Energy in Bakersfield, California here. It's jointly owned by Shell and ExxonMobil, and they operate about 120 of what are called once-through steam generators. These are large steam generators, and the steam is pumped underground to allow the oil to flow. So it's fundamental to the process of extracting heavy oil from underground. These systems, without emissions controls, can produce a lot of what's called NOx, nitrogen oxide. That causes smog and ground-level ozone. So they're closely regulated, as you would guess, by the authorities there. The problem is with the current technology, they have to recirculate a lot of flue gas. That costs money. It takes power and energy away from the system to do that. Our system is going to allow them to hit these NOx numbers, to eliminate external flue gas recirculation, to increase the overall energy efficiency and reduce cost. So that's a great example. Additionally, we're in discussions right now with several refineries where the shape of the flame is critically important to how many days a year I can operate, to how much oil I can actually process through these refineries. So by improving flame pattern and eliminating the tendency for flames to impinge on process tubes, I can actually increase cash flow at a single refinery site by tens of millions of dollars annually, just by improving the quality of the flame pattern. So those are the kinds of things we mean by performance, are improvements in flame pattern, reductions in things like flue gas recirculation, while complying with NOx standards that are getting tighter and tighter all the time.
Okay, so I'm not an oil patch analyst, and many of our investors, I don't want them to think they don't understand what you're talking about. So, for the sense of clarity, let's take it down a notch. What's your background? Are you an engineer?
No, I'm not.
Oh, yeah,
I just play one on TV.
All right. So I want to take it down a notch.
Sure.
And I want to talk about the business model.
Yeah.
And then you can start to integrate how you've done some new things. But let's take it right back to square one, if you would, for our interview.
Sure. Yeah, so our technology, as I mentioned, is for controlling emissions. Think industrial systems. You know what's interesting? We think about transportation when we talk about energy. But it turns out that only 27% of all the energy in the world is used in transportation. And that's all cars, ships, trains, everything combined. The rest of it is all the stuff we don't see. The boilers, the furnaces, the kilns, the refineries, the chemical plants that are using 2/3 of all the energy in the world. So our potential customer base is vast. It's all those oil and gas companies. Do you know how much energy the oil and gas companies use in their own operations?
Don't tell me more than they produce.
No. 20%. That's a staggering figure. So 20% of all the oil and gas that they're producing is going right back into providing energy for their operations. So that's a huge market for us. But the other thing, think about this. Boilers. Where do you find boilers? Well, if you open your fridge, all the milk, butter, eggs, all that's been pasteurized and heat treated and thermally processed. All the canned goods in your pantry have all been thermally processed. So there's hundreds of thousands of boilers in the United States. They're used to heat university campuses and hospitals. They're used in processing plants for food. So combustion is pervasive in an industrial economy. So we've got customers and potential customers the world over. How do we reach them? Well, we go direct initially to create pull. And as that happens, just as we're experiencing here in Bakersfield, comes along a cluster of all the engineering firms that do business on a regular basis who can make money with us by performing the installation of these systems.
So right now you're a retrofit.
Yes.
Sooner than later, you'll be a manufactured product going into the facility as it's being built. Am I correct?
You're absolutely correct, and that's a great insight, because our business model, the beauty of it is we have the best of both worlds. Retrofit is commonplace in combustion and emissions control, so we're not changing the rules of how people do business. We're just giving them a better alternative, right? And the beauty of that is that because systems are being retrofit all the time, it allows us to enter the market quickly and jump right into that stream.
And there's a requirement. There's an RFP. I mean, you're not walking in during this saying, hello, where you been all our lives, right? Well, you're competing for that job.
Yeah, we are, but we are getting the response where you've been all our lives because we're better. You did. That was a great softball. Bang. So because what happens is what's happened is the regulations have gone from 20 parts per million of NOx to 10 parts per million to 5 parts per million. And the experience that industry has had is that each time those regulations become tighter, it costs me more money.
I'm trading compliance is a pain.
You've got it. So what we're doing that's really revolutionary and disruptive here is we're saying you're going to be able to go to that next level, and it's actually going to cost you less money. We're reversing that trend. You're going to increase refinery capacity.
That's the ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. Bringing together environmental excellence, process excellence, and profitability is a very, very powerful idea. I mean, imagine, for example, that we can get, because we think we can, get these emissions down to near zero. NOx is really the only emissions that natural gas is concerned with. So what happens if you now find, well, it's possible. You can create a zero-emission boiler or furnace or kiln. You have to ask yourself, well, why would you ever build another one that does emit NOx when there's all this cost associated with it? So we've got a big vision. We think we've got a technology that, because of its simplicity, its cost, the economic benefits along with the environmental benefits, really answers the mail for the environment that we have right now. So just to put a fine point on that, just this summer, the regulators here in Southern California are proposing a new, tougher standard for 2016 for refineries and other boilers and other heaters to comply with, of 2 parts per million of NOx at a 3% oxygen. That's a technical point, but we're right now the only thing in the market that's going to allow them to get there, and we're going to bring them all these other benefits.
And you're a public company, and your symbol is CLIR.
That's correct.
What's your website?
Website is www.clearsign.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Rutkowski, ClearSign, CLIR. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive. We're at the Singular Research Best of the Uncovereds 9th Annual Conference right here in Bel Air. Welcome to SNNLive. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shelley. Appreciate it.
I'll shake your hand.
Take care. Bye-bye.